Okay, my name is Miura. I'm a professor of political science at Sophia University, Tokyo, Japan. I'm teaching Japanese politics, comparative politics, gender and politics. Recently, I've been working with civil society women to increase women's representation in politics. And I try to introduce French idea of parité in Japan. And one of the activities that I have been working is like a parité campaign. So I made this leaflet with young Japanese women and try to sort of advocate that 50-50 participation, the equal participation of men and women is very important for politics. Well, I think that the current situation in Japan is still far away from gender equality. If you look at the wage gap between men and women earn roughly 80% of men's wage. That means that there's still around 20% of wage gap. And one of the reasons that we have still large wage gap is that division of work between men and women is still strict. Men mainly work outside of the household, and women's main job is supposed to be a domestic work. If you look at the labor market, half of women actually take up non-regular work. Non-regular work is anything that is not regular. That means that the time is fixed, and then payment is very low, and there is not much opportunity for career development. I told you that there is a wage gap between men and women, and one of the reasons is that there are only few women who become managers in the companies. And if you look at the politics, there are only few women. In the lower house, there are only 10% women, and if you look at the upper house, the women's share is only 20%. Now the average of the world is around 23%. So that means that Japan lags behind from the international perspective. So young women or young girls do not consider that they can take up that kind of responsibilities because we still lack women's role models. That's the first reason. And also we need more leadership coming from current leaders, which tend to be men. Regarding the exchange and cooperation between France and Japan, I think such cooperation has enormous impact. Japan can learn a lot from French experiences, especially like idea like parité or parity. Well, currently, Japanese diet is considering to enact a new law which requires the political parties to field the same number of men and women candidates. It's not a compulsory law, it's just a moral encouragement. But still, if the law is passed, I believe that this is a great step. And the idea actually came from France, a French parité idea. Well, if you look at the World Economic Forum ranking, the French ranking is much higher than Japanese ranking. So in that case, France's situation has been advanced in many ways. But at the same time, women in both countries share many obstacles for gender equality. So I think we can learn a lot more from each other. And also, I really appreciate that the French President Macron took such an initiative to advance gender equality. And some people think that gender equality is a kind of past topic and the peak is already gone. But if you look at the reality, that's not really true. Even in France, there are many cases that still there are many obstacles for women to fulfill and also achieve gender equality. So again, political leadership is very important, and especially men's leadership is very much welcomed.